Welcome, and thank you everyone for joining us. This is a very, very special day for us. We are launching this new Tableau community. And just to remind everyone of the agenda, we'll start with a little bit of a welcome and introduction and the reason why we started this group, and then I'll be taking that. So I'll introduce myself here in a second, and then we'll go into the power of community, and Sebastian and Annie will walk us through that topic, and then Francis will take us through a little bit of a journey on those two questions that we asked, those special questions, and show us some pretty cool things with that. So we will start learning who we are. And then we'll go into a section that we call Hablemos Tableau. And we have Julia sharing some of the great work that she has done in the past. And then we'll have a member highlight, and we will that will be presented by Diego, and he'll walk us through some of his experience with Tableau as well. And then we'll go into what we call Café con Datos, which is a little bit of a fun section for us that we'll try to keep doing our meetings so that everyone can engage a little bit and hopefully get a chance to win a prize. So we'll go through that, and then we'll close, and hopefully we'll have fun, and you'll learn a little bit about all of us, and a little bit about some of the cool things that we are wanting to do with these communities. So let's get us started, and I'm gonna go ahead and present here my, see, there you go. And just wanted to remind everyone as well, we have the chat open, so if you have any questions or anything like that, just use the chat functionality, and we'll be happy to respond. We have created a couple of ways to connect with us, so if you want to connect with us outside of the meetings, you can do that by joining our Slack channel, and you will see those across the presentation as well, so you can use those QR codes as well. But anyway, let's get us started. So as I mentioned, this is the first Tableau user group that aims to bring together the LatinX community, and we want to basically help everyone in the community to learn, grow, and hopefully support the cause of diversity and equity. So our mission is to create a more equal world, and that's a very ambitious mission, but we'll try to get there little by little. And the way we will get there is by connecting the Latino and Latino Tableau community to provide opportunities to grow, learn, create, and hopefully influence change. And a little bit about me. If you have been in a lot of these user groups, we always try to throw some things in so that you can learn a little bit about the people that participate on them. So I wanted to throw some things in there. I am a father, a husband that loves music, movies, real football, so the real one. And great food, especially when I get to do that with my family and my friends. I love coaching my 6-year-old, the real football too, and watching my 13-year-olds. They play elite soccer, so I love watching them. They're pretty good. They're way better than I was when I was their age, I can tell you that. And I'm also a purple analytics leader, and I do want to talk a little bit about that. So I was tasked to basically come up with a data visualization of that journey, and how it eventually came to be the actual launch of this community. And I wanted to share these. I'm not going to go through everything that's in there. There's a lot of little tool tips there, and you can interact with these on my profile. But I did want to mention a couple things. So I have had a career that has gotten me through a lot of different roles, starting from finance, and you can see some of that right here. So I went from front office with Marriott to housekeeping to accounting, and then I went deeper into finance. So I had a couple of years in finance at Freno Seguro. I moved to Ecuador, by the way. The reason that I moved is because I actually had twins when I was at Marriott, and it was very, very, very hard. My wife is also from Ecuador. We were in Austin, Texas. And at that time, we decided to move to Ecuador where our family could help us out. So I went deeper into finance, and for a couple of years, I was doing finance or finance-related roles at it, and finance-related roles. But then I came back, and when I came back, I was happy to join Sony, and I loved it. I love technology, so it was pretty fun to join a company like that, where you get to play with all those toys before the consumers get to see them. That was pretty interesting, and I joined as a pricing analyst. And then from pricing, I then went back into the hotel industry, and I got into sales operations. So when I started sales operations, I got a nice opportunity to start learning more and more about how the operation and support that we were providing is very driven on data and performance data, and I get very, very close to that. And then all of a sudden I heard Tableau, and we were making the jump to start using data visualization. And I was very sad because my analytics team, the one that was supporting me, basically was getting to play with it with Tableau, but I wasn't. So I then unfortunately got impacted by a transformation. But at that same time, I said, okay, I'm going to look into Tableau, and I'm going to try to figure out how to get that skill. And I was surprised to see how easy it was to learn it. The first thing I built was my resume, actually, in Tableau. And from that, I started kind of getting closer and closer to the analytics side. So at this point in time, I was in sales operations, looking for a new role. But I had the skills of Tableau. My resume was online in Tableau, and I went into an interview where I prepared a business case, and I prepared a dashboard in Tableau, and I got the job. And the job was basically sales enablement, but very geared towards enabling analytics. And I loved it, learned a lot from it, but that's when this entire purple analytics leader happened. And I'll tell you what that story looks like. But basically, at this point in time, IHE was launching the Tableau community at Intercontinental Hotels. And when they were doing that, of course, Tableau came over, and there were about, I don't know, maybe 100 people in this room, and a lot of people from Tableau. And I was very excited that we were going to start that, but I also was very surprised when Tableau came with the sales pitch, because they were talking about a server version that was way ahead from what we were. So I raised my hand and I started asking questions. I said, well, that's pretty cool, but we don't have that yet. When are we going to get it? And someone in the end kind of pulled me aside from Tableau, and I started talking to him. Great guy. Amazing leader in analytics, and he basically started asking me these random questions, and I didn't know what he was after, but he started asking me questions about my past. I'm like, okay, is he trying to interview me for a job, or what's this about? So then he said, well, it's funny because I think you might be a purple leader. And I'm like, what's that about? Like, what's a purple leader? So he said, you got to read this book. And the book is called the secrets of analytical leaders. And it talks about how purple leaders are people that don't quite are extremely technical, so they haven't had a technical a very heavy technical background, but they know enough to be able to talk both technical and business. So I thought that was pretty cool, and from that point on, I was like, okay, now I know what I want to do, and I know what my career needs to be, because before that I was jumping from opportunity to opportunity. It was very fun, but I was always asking, what does that look like for my future, and what do I really want to focus on? So it was very exciting times, and at that same time, around that same time, I joined the Atlanta Tableau user group. I started going to those meetings, and at that point in time, I started meeting a lot of people from different places in Latin America, and we were talking about the fact that there's a gap when it comes to user groups for Hispanics in Tableau. And I kind of went from a conversation to then what we're about to do now. So I know I'm kind of taking a lot of time here, but I do want to say that if it wasn't for all the people that you're going to see on your screens and to hear from today, this would have never happened. Because when I got my last role, I started working with Tableau again. We're launching a Tableau community at LPL, and when I had a conversation with Francis that I had no idea had any connection with the Hispanic community, I said,
don't.
Yeah, I was like, my God, man. I'm like, okay, well, so I told him there's no Tableau user group for Hispanics, and he was all over it, and he invited all these amazing people to help us out. So we are here. This is our first meeting. We're very excited about it, and we want to engage and interact with you as much as we can. I know it's a virtual world, so connect with us in any way, shape, or form you can. We'll be there for you. We'll help you out. Hopefully, you'll learn a couple things from these amazing people. And we're ready. We're ready to get this started. So please let us know what we can do for you, how we can help you out, and we'll just, welcome to this journey with us. So I'm going to hand it over now, and let me just go back to my slides here. So I'm going to hand it over now to Annie and Sebastian, who will walk us through why this is so important and what's the power of community.
Thank you, Rui. Well, thank you everybody for joining the call. Just a quick intro here. I'm Sebastian Briceño. I've been with Tableau for about 7 years, running the inside sales team out of Austin, Texas, selling to Latin America. And as Rui and Annie and Francis and Julia and Diego, everybody who decided to join this call, they pulled me in a little bit late. But once I got to the themes and the core we wanted to achieve, I immediately became passionate for just what is our reality, our shared sort of experience that we have as Latinos living in the United States, but the Latinos anywhere. This is, now it's virtual. The idea is to sort of think about all of the experience, the diversity of experience at a global level. I feel very fortunate that living in America, living that immigrant experience, growing up, and I was actually born in Miami, and then after living 6 months there, I moved to Nicaragua. So I lived all of my until high school to Nicaragua. So, and then the rest of my life I've spent here. And we live this life as an immigrant, which is a constant struggle of identity, right? Because I'm sure anybody who lives in the United States here can share the fact that when we go home, we often don't feel like we're home. And when we're here in the United States, we don't feel like home. So we're always sort of juggling these two worlds and finding a space like this where it's an intersection of this shared sort of experience, but also the fact that we're all passionate about data. The data is central to our careers and our work, and we're just data nerds. And again, it's really cool when we can find those convergences, because then there's so many directions that we can take it. Really, and Rui and I were talking about this yesterday. The idea is just really to start building the community, seeing sort of the vision that many of us can bring to the table. Annie and I are involved in creating the Latino Force. It's a Salesforce employee engagement group that we're building here out of Austin, and just thinking about everything that's happened this year and sort of the same motivation behind sort of creating a community. But also, once you create a community, it's like, how do you give back? How do we empower others, other Latinos who want to build a career around data, or want to build a career in technology? So that's something that it's become really relevant to me and Annie and the people in this group to sort of think about that. Something also that we can be thinking about as we continue to think what we want this group to be about. So with that, I'll pass it along to Annie, who is actually the president and founder of Latino Force, who can talk a little bit more of her own experience. I love hearing these stories because it just rallies me up about like, oh, I know you, I know what you're living, you know, and this is sort of the experience that I most resonate with me. But anyway, Annie will share her story and also her vision around Latino Force. So thank you, Annie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Well, first of all, I want to say good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining the call. And I also want to say Happy Hispanic Heritage Month to everyone. As Sebastian said, yes, we are very passionate about these commonalities that all of us share. My name is Annie Noboa. I am a renewals manager for Tableau. I've been with Tableau almost 5 years now, and happy now to also be part of the Salesforce Ohana. A little bit about me and my family. I'm originally from Guayaquil, Ecuador. And even though similar to Sebastian, I was born here in the US, but I lived all my childhood years from the age of 1 to about 16, almost wrapping up high school, between Panama City, Panama, and Guayaquil, Ecuador. So thus, there's usually, I always get this call out, I was like, but wait a second, sometimes you sound Panamanian and then sometimes you sound Ecuadorian. And I definitely blame that fusion because I grew up in that mixed environment. So nonetheless, regardless, if I feel Panamanian more so on one day than Ecuadorian on the next, I do definitely consider myself 100% a proud Latina. Austin has been home for me and my family for now almost 20 years, which I like to consider my adult life, right? And similar to what Sebastian was saying, even though I'm here and this is where my immediate family is, I still consider Ecuador, Guayaquil, to be home because that's where my cousins are at. That's when we have, our get-togethers. And anyway, it's always a struggle to kind of identify what is home, right? And what that looks like. As far as my family life, I'm a mom to 3 kiddos, or as they jokingly say, they're momager because I'm involved in a lot of aspects of what they do in and out of school and their professional life. But as far as like the commonality that I think all of us Latinos shares, it's, good music, good food, having the opportunity to connect with one another through those engagements, right? I'm always looking for new recipes on how to share those recipes, inviting people over, hosting parties. That's what I think is awesome about being a community. other Latinos, right? So I feel like the coworkers that I have are an extension of that family. So with that, I think it's very powerful that we're able to share our common thread, our Hispanic heritage, and also have this space to share the passion that we have for Tableau. And I also want to go back to Rui's point. You know, really the purpose of building this community is to have a space to create, to grow, to learn from one another, to be good stewards within this community and influence the change that we want to see, right? And all the while, you know, of course, there's going to be hiccups, everything's virtually. Just have fun, be ourselves. I think that one of the things that we can be grateful about this pandemic, just try to see the positive, is that it really has given us an opportunity to pause and to slow down and really think about what's important. And I think that building a community like this, having a space to be ourselves, be our authentic selves, is very powerful, and there's a lot of value in that. So again, thank you so much for joining the call. It is also now my pleasure to introduce to you Francis Dejonckheere. Okay, and yes, welcome everyone.
Hello, Annie. Thank you, Sebastian. Thank you. Awesome. Actually, if you flip back one slide, Roy, just want to give everyone the opportunity to scan that QR code. Just a heads up, Tableau conference is coming up. We didn't have a slide in here just yet, but October 6th to October 8th, there's going to be 3 days of content. We're going to be here chatting on Slack. We're going to be talking about the different events, talking about, I know Neil deGrasse Tyson is out there. I know we have our CEO, Adam Selipsky, talking, our devs on stage, the Iron Viz competition. There's a whole host of activities coming up. We're going to be chatting on Slack. So if you guys would like to join us, no pressure at all. Just go ahead and scan that Slack QR code, and that will take you to our page and open up that line of communication just to continue talking and getting to know each other.
Just to add one quick thing as well, we will be doing that in Spanish and English. So we'll have two channels. If you want to speak Spanish, you can use the Spanish channel for that, or the English.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, everybody, I'm thrilled. I'm excited to be a part of this Latino, Latina, LatinX, in my case, sometimes Latin-ish community, where we all get to just share our experiences, learn from each other, grow with each other. And kind of the first step in all of that is getting to know each other. So I was going to start off here talking a little bit about me, talk about my journey, how I got here, some kind of extracurriculars so you get an idea of who is Francis Dejonckheere, and then dive into our results from the survey to get a feel for who we are as a collective group. And you'll get a sense of how we're going to take that in the coming sessions, how we're going to build upon that, and just get a feel for our different angles, our different perspectives, our different backgrounds, our different perks, what we offer as a collective group. But selfishly, starting with me, so you get to know me. As it says here, my name is Francis Dejonckheere. A little bit about me. I was born in Germany in 1991 to a Peruvian mother and a Belgian father. I was quite a confused child. When I was 5, I came to the United States. I looked something like that. I like to refer to this as the prime of my career. Jean shorts, Pokemon t-shirt, doesn't really get much better than that haircut. And I was naturalized when I was 22. I don't know if anybody else here naturalized remembers those little flags. We had a Southern accent, Oakton High School gymnasium. I thought it'd be the Capitol with President Barack Obama. Instead, it was the local person saying, "This is the proudest day of y'all's lives. Wave your flags." So I'd like to put that there. Growing up in DC, growing up in the Northern Virginia area, my mom was really the one that kept me steady, kept me grounded to the Latino roots that I have, right? All of my grandparents, all my cousins, all my godparents, everybody I know is on my mom's side. This is her. Clearly, she has picked up photo editing and a life passion for Peruvian soccer. Combine that with some sort of sunset montage. I'm not really sure. She's a huge personality, way cooler than I'll ever be. But she was really what kept me grounded in the pisco sours and the cusqueñas, obviously at a later age, but more the lomo saltados, ají de gallina, escabeches, arroz chaufas, all those kind of things that do keep me identifying as Peruvian, keep me grounded as Peruvian, despite having been in the States for my entire life, despite not having an accent, despite really looking at me and being like, oh, I had no clue you're Hispanic. Your last name didn't tip us off. So anyways, Northern Virginia took me to William & Mary. I studied abroad in Argentina, so got a nice taste of living down there, where I eventually met my wife, Maria Victoria. She's pictured here. She's actually half Paraguayan. Shout out to the Paraguayan in this group. I saw your registration background. That's awesome. Welcome. So here we are actually in the church where her parents got married. So we were married there about 1.5 years ago to this day. And, you know, I brought a sense of adventure, right? I love scuba diving, paragliding, hiking. That's Fitzroy in Argentina. She brought the pugs. So we have a little flat-nosed critter running around our house. Sometimes we dress him up because why not? On a professional front, I started at Bloomberg, well, my analytics career at Bloomberg. I'm sure many of you guys have heard this story. It was a 5-person analyst team replicating ad hoc Excel reports for a sales operation team. And we were just repeating the same cycle, not adding value in Excel. Somebody handed us a database credential, handed us a Tableau license and said, what can you do with this? We were able to generate all of the reports of the 5-man team to one person, and all of it was automated. So really made a big difference. Tableau really transformed my trajectory from kind of being a thumb pusher to how can we actually come in here and strategically change the business. One of the downfalls, I won't say downfalls, but one of the pain points I fell into, which eventually brought me to Tableau, was my inability to scale as an analyst, right? The first report, game changer. The second one, game changer. Third, change behaviors. Fourth, restructured businesses. By the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you find yourself maintaining reports most of the time as opposed to innovating. And so that was a challenge I was never able to get over the hump to scale out just myself. And so that brought me here to Tableau as a customer success manager, where past 1.5 years I've been focused on how do you deploy and scale out a successful analytics program, right? Not just making one analyst successful in their project and their specific area, but how do you inform an entire business unit, an entire company to be on the same page around an analytics strategy and pushing that forth? It's been truly awesome. Happy to talk about anything you see here: pugs, diving, mountain climbing, Pokemon, German lederhosen hats, anything goes. Some of the things I'm looking forward to with Comuni Datos, right? I don't think I would have ever started this on my own, but I was overjoyed to hear Rui have this vision, have this passion for it, and understand that, you know, weirdly enough, we do have at Tableau the keys to make some of this happen. I see 4 key areas of excitement to get to know you guys. One, Viva la Viz. We're going to start releasing data sets after these sessions. The first thought is a government data set from every country. Maybe we go down the list. Diego, I stole that from your slide. We'll see that later. We'll see that down the list when we'll put visualizations together as a community, right? This month will be Argentina. The next one will be Bolivia. The next will be Chile. We get to learn about these countries in depth together from their data, get a view of how each other's angles, how we're coming at it, and ultimately what the best visual is. And whatever we vote on, that being, whether that be in Slack, Twitter, at this meeting, we'll go ahead and put it on our Tableau public profile and continue to push out Latin American themed analyses, visualizations, both in English and in Spanish. Comuni Doctores. I have not asked my team if this is the name we want to go for, but I like it. You guys should say yes. Comuni Doctores. So this is going to be our Slack group. We want to keep this. We want the Q&A to come back and forth. Any questions you have, you don't know where to go to for level of detail, you actually have a line in with a couple Tableau employees and a bunch of Tableau employees in different companies. We saw Comcast, we saw Aon, across the board. So if you have questions, bring them to the Slack group. We'll work on them together. You have ideas you want to rebound in your company, you don't know who to talk to, bring them to us and we'll be happy to help prop you up. Because one of the key pillars I see in all this is how to help each other find career growth. One, on your individual projects, making you successful in your role, but 2, also from a job opportunity perspective. So if you see an open analytics job, share it with the Latin American community. Let's make sure we're getting each other jobs and setting ourselves up for success here. A third is this, Sebastian touched on this, the dialogue around identity. I've never really been put in a corner where I have to talk about it. And it's one of those things where I'm in a room of Americans. Of course I'm Latino. Like, I have a Peruvian mom. My parents live in Lima. I studied abroad in Argentina. I got married in Paraguay. Like, what doubt is there that I'm Latino? And then put me in a room with people from Latin America, and it's like, oh, I'm Latin-ish. I'm kind of there, right? And so we had a really interesting dialogue just a week ago, whether to call this group, to refer to this group as Latinos, Latinas, LatinX. And we picked Latinx because I think that's the all-inclusive term, and I think that is where we're going to as a society. But somebody rose their hand and said, I don't really feel included with that. And that's a fascinating dialogue as we explore what identity is, what these terms are, and where we come from. And I can only imagine that we as a group wisen up, learn more by hearing each other's backgrounds, each other's stories, each other's perspectives. So I can't wait to hear from you guys as members of this community. We're going to be asking you guys to come speak and introduce yourself in the same way we're doing today. We're here getting you started, but we hope that you'll fill this in the future with your story, your Latin American connection, and your responsibilities at work and everything in between. And then lastly, I'd like to practice my Spanish. Right now we're speaking in English. I am not comfortable enough to run a whole presentation in Spanish, but we will be alternating these meetings. This one's in English, the next one in Spanish, and we will be alternating throughout the year. So for those English the first language trying to learn Spanish, come join us, learn a couple words, sit on Google Translate the whole time, whatever, and vice versa. Yeah, whatever, you get the point. We're all here to learn languages, broaden our perspectives. So I'm really excited for this group. I'm thankful that this group came together like this, but let's take a dive into who we are. You guys did a phenomenal job with the surveys. And here's our first take at it. Who is Comuni Datos? You'll notice that there's 59 total members in our group right now. We are spreading the word here from a grassroots approach. There was a debate whether we blast it out to everybody or do we keep it small and grow organically. And at this stage, we want to get to know you guys individually, and we want to participate with you guys, and we want to talk about visualizations and our background with you guys and get to know each other. And as we build out these workflows, these tools, these Viva la Viz, these data doctores, and these different things, we expand naturally and organically. So here we are at 59 total members. Our first attribute as a group, we are dog lovers. 71%, 42 people voted that they like dogs. Cats came in second with 11 votes. You have a little bit of neither, a little bit of both, and mad respect for the bravery to admit on a public forum that you are a lizard person. That is awesome. I too had a lizard growing up. It was a bearded dragon, and I got it for Christmas. So we actually called it We Weet You, for We Weet You a Merry Christmas. We Weet You a Merry Christmas. I think had we gotten another one, it would have been a Happy New Year, but you know, anyways, that's my little anecdote about lizards there. We're a reggaeton family. So the minority said reggaeton. We have a lot of different opinions here. Reggaeton, salsa, because they're the obvious examples. Boleros, thank you, Luis. Thank you, Ana, for putting those up. I've been listening to boleros all day. And we have some banda, both, and hard rock, merengue, metal, music symphony, other, y Tejano music. So maybe something we should do in the future is pick one of these genres to give the intro and the outro for every meeting, just putting it out there. Anyways, we hail from 29 different countries. How cool is that? How cool is that? We have 29 different countries on the call and 20 different companies. So this is really just a hammer in that point. Each of these companies is a completely different perspective on how a business is operated. That is a perspective you can bring to this group. And each of these countries is a different cuisine, a different song, a different everything. And I really personally can't wait to learn all about you guys across those different spectrums. You'll notice that I've left this dashboard pretty much empty. That's because as we continue to do these meetings, as we continue to collect these surveys, we're gonna go ahead and fill this out. Something we can publish in Tableau Public as a who we are, who is Comuni Datos, as we push forward. Awesome. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak, to talk to you guys, to meet you guys in the future. I get the pleasure of handing it off over to Julia Biedry. She is our Salesforce Got Talent mega star over here, and she plays a hell of a dashboard instrument. So we're gonna actually pass it off over to her. She's gonna break open some of the dashboards she's been working on along the Latin American themes. Awesome, Julia, it's your show.
Hey everyone, can you hear me okay?
Beautifully.
Great. Hi everyone. Funny joke there about Salesforce Got Talent, Francis. Thanks for outing me there. Francis is referring to our internal company talent show, which I auditioned for and ended up getting to perform in the finals. And Salesforce, because they like to do crazy stuff, invited Colin Jost from SNL to be the presenter. So I'm from New York. I love SNL and I was very nervous, but it turned out really well. So fun experience. Anyway, nice to meet everyone. I'm going to share a fun slide about myself as well. If everyone can see this. Does that work? All right, so I'm Julia. Much like Francis, I come from a multicultural background as well. The funny thing about my last name Biedry is that it's not actually the original of what that last name once was. I was born to a Polish father and a Puerto Rican mother. So my real full last name would be Biedry Gonzalez, but that's kind of an alphabet soup. So we decided to make it a little bit easier for everyone. So nice to meet everyone. I, like Francis and like Annie and Sebastian, work at Tableau. I am a solution engineer here. So basically what that means is I build dashboards all day and talk to customers and troubleshoot and help people be successful with Tableau. So a little bit about me. I'm Puerto Rican, very proud to be so. I call myself New Yorican because there's a whole different culture of Puerto Ricans growing up in New York, which is where I grew up. So proudly New Yorican, specifically Brooklyn. Fun fact, 3 of my past generations have lived in Brooklyn, including myself. So that's pretty fun. I moved to Washington, D.C. about 2 years ago to work for Tableau. Prior, I was also working in visual analytics at IBM. And I liked working with Tableau so much that I decided that I wanted to work for the company. So made the switch. Moved down to DC and now work primarily on use cases in the public sector and nonprofit. So it's been a really cool experience. And this is my mom right here. And we were visiting the cherry blossoms last year. So fun picture of pre-COVID freedom. Cool. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Tableau Public. I'm going to walk through a visualization that I've created. And I'll show you how to create one chart type that's a little bit less common in Tableau, but I think it is very useful in certain use cases. So let's get started with that. I just wanted to start out with a fun schematic of the Tableau community in general. So we're here right now in user groups in this purple branch right here, but I'm going to bring us over to Tableau Public over here. Both user groups, Tableau Public and everything else you see on this slide, are really important parts of the Tableau community and different ways that you can get involved and meet people and share your work and really gain skills with Tableau and visual analytics. So part of our group and part of our kind of mission for this group is getting more use cases out there, both about the Latinx community, but also in Spanish. So one of the things that we've tasked ourselves with in this group is to work together to get some more high impact visualizations out there, not necessarily in English. The majority of the content out there on Tableau Public is in English, but we're hoping to add to the kind of the multilingual aspect of Tableau Public and really make Tableau Public more accessible for folks who are more comfortable in Spanish or even Portuguese, for example. So today I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my Tableau Public profile, some of the vizzes that I've created, specifically one about representation in STEM. So us as Latinos, the Latinx community, we are definitely underrepresented in STEM. So something that I found on the internet was a census article with data on representation in STEM of the various ethnic and racial groups in the United States. And I thought it was a really interesting thing to get out there to the community. So we'll walk through that first. I'll show you our new Comuni Datos Tableau public page, which we are hoping to get out there to all of you so you can publish your visualizations and get featured. And then we'll walk through a chart type and just a little tutorial on how to create that in Tableau. Cool. So here's my Tableau public. I love Tableau public, as you can see. I have 12 vises up here. I'm pretty vain about my Tableau public. There were plenty more that did not make the cut, but these are the ones that were good looking enough to get on there. As you can see, I'm very interested in nonprofit and data for good related use cases. For example, my most recent dashboard was about health insurance in America and disparities in access to healthcare. We have one about the Latino AX electorate, which I created because it's election season coming up. This is the viz we'll be going through today, representation in STEM occupations. But if anyone wants to check me out or follow me on Tableau Public, I will definitely follow you back, and I will give you a follow from the Comuni Datos account as well. So Tableau Public is a great way to get your work out there and really brand yourself in the Tableau community. And it also, you know, creates introductions to other users who will maybe inquire, ask about your work. You can put your personal links up here. I've had people reach out to me in the past about my Tableau public visualizations, and it's just a really great way to, you know, show your skills and network. So let's talk about this visualization. Representation in STEM occupations. So one of the big reasons that we saw a need for this group is, you know, partially shown in this dashboard right here. So you can see here, about 8 million people in the US work in a STEM occupation. And when we break that down by race and ethnicity, the STEM workforce is 70% white, 16% Asian, 77% Hispanic or Latinx, and 6% Black. So you can see here, Hispanic, Latinx, and Black folks are underrepresented in STEM fields. While we collectively make up 27% of the workforce, we only make up about 13% of STEM occupations. So this bar up top is the total share of the total workforce of each of these racial and ethnic groups. And then you can see the share that are employed in STEM occupations. So you can see right here and right here, there's some underrepresentation in the Hispanic, Latinx community and the Black and African American community. Diving deeper into this data, there was also information on individual occupations, which I thought was really interesting. So we can see different types of sciences here: life scientists, physical science, engineering, social scientists, computer, mathematical, and life and physical sciences. And you can see here that us as the Hispanic Latinx community were least represented in the life and physical sciences and engineering occupations. So you can see right here and right here. So the representation really varies when you go through the different fields within the STEM occupations. So looking further into different breakdowns, we now have gender as well. So you can see women make up 47% of the US workforce, but only 25% of STEM occupations. So we have the total workforce here again, and then the breakdown when you dive into STEM occupations specifically. So women are definitely underrepresented in the STEM workforce. When we look at the individual occupations within the STEM workforce, we can also see, again, women are least represented in engineering occupations, and then also in computer occupations, which is definitely relevant for us as we definitely work in computer occupations. So combining race and ethnicity and gender all together, I thought was the best way to really distill this data and look at every single category separately. So an even different story comes out here when you combine the 4 racial and ethnic groups that were present in the data with gender, so women and men. So you can see here, one of our key findings is that Latinas are actually the least represented out of all of the different categories in STEM. So as someone who identifies as Latina, that's, you know, something that I'm very passionate about is getting more Latinas interested in STEM, you know, mentoring students in college, getting people interested in the sciences and technology and data visualization. So part of our group and part of Comuni Datos is, you know, creating this community, creating the support to allow even more Latinos, Latinas, Latinxes to get involved with STEM and data analytics. So I've just completed this visualization with what I like to think of, seats at the table in STEM occupations, and just a call to action of we who already work in STEM have an obligation to, pull each other up, mentor and provide support to each other, and give our underrepresented colleagues a seat at the table. So this is my viz on representation in STEM occupations. This visualization specifically, I think we decided it was called a diverging bar chart. Francis, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're spot on. It took us a while to figure it out, but you are correct.
Yeah, so I originally thought that I had invented this, but I was wrong. It's definitely out there. So I'm going to walk you through just one example of this visualization and how you can create a diverging bar chart. So diverging bar chart is not too difficult in Tableau. It's really just two bar charts together with a little bit of fancy formatting. But I think is a really great way to analyze different categories. When you have, multiple categories at play, for example, we've got our racial and ethnic groups here, and then we also have women and men. So let's walk through how to create a diverging bar chart. For the interest of time, I know we're running a little bit late. I'm gonna skip a couple of the initial steps and I'll just show you the fancy formatting. So we're starting out with two basic bar charts here. I've created them just by dragging out my measure values here and then my measure names, limiting it down to these 4 measure values, which are the white alone non-Hispanic %, Asian alone non-Hispanic %, Black and African American non-Hispanic %, and Hispanic or Latino %. So these are the percents of representation in STEM occupation in my data set. So once I've created 2 bar charts, one for women and one for men, I have actually 2 data sources here, and I've blended them together for this purpose. So once I've created those 2, here and here, I'm going to show you the formatting that you'll need to do to turn this into a diverging bar chart. So let's start here on our dashboard with our 2 visualizations. So there's a couple of steps to this, and it's mostly about, hiding or showing fields, formatting axes, changing padding. So we'll walk through it step by step. First, what I want to do is get rid of the labels here because I only want the labels to show on one side for my diverging bar chart to look correct. So I'm going to go into this visualization and uncheck show header, and that goes away. All right, we're one step closer here. So second of all, I want them to both stem from this midline right here. So I'm going to jump into this visualization and reverse the axis. And there we go. All right, so now we've got the basics of our diverging bar chart, but what's important here is we want to make sure that the axes match. So you can see this 16% and this 53% are looking kind of similar right now. We want them both to have the same axes limits. So we're going to edit the axis on this side to make sure it reflects this one. So let's jump in here, edit the axis, and we see I have a range from 0 to 58.5. We're going to reflect that in the other viz that we have. So we'll make it fixed and change that to 58.5.
I did not realize this is how you did it, Julia. I was expecting a show me button.
Yeah, it's fancy. It's really just fancy formatting. There's a lot you can do with Tableau that it doesn't initially show from, for example, the show me button. So
how many people in the audience knew about that? Let us know in the chat box. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. So we're very close now. I'm just going to format this and make it a little bit brighter so we can see. And the last thing I want to do is there's a little bit of white space between these 2 visualizations, and I want them to look seamless. So I'm just going to remove the padding. So if I select, you can see the padding is showing up right here, outer padding. Click that, make it 0. Click this, and make it 0. And then last thing I'm going to do, hide these axes. And there you have it, diverging bar chart. Awesome. Well, hopefully someone out there learned a new formatting trick with Tableau today. So I'm gonna, in a second, pass it over. But before we get there, I just want to quickly highlight the Comuni Datos, our new Tableau public page. So our goal with this, as I said, is to get the visualizations of our users out there and feature to the community, and also increase the number of visualizations out there in a language other than English. So I have published the first visualization to the Comuni Datos Tableau public page, and it's a Spanish translation of one of the visualizations on my own profile about the Latino electorate, and also combined with the Cook Partisan Voting Index. So feel free to check this out. I'm sure we have the link somewhere that we can share with everyone, but start thinking about this. This would be really great if folks in the community would translate their own vizzes to, you know, whatever Spanish, Portuguese, and get this out here on Comuni Datos. Awesome. Well, with that, I'm going to pass it over to Diego, who is here today and is going to speak to us about his journey in Tableau.
Thanks, Julia. Can you see my screen now?
We sure can.
Well, hello everyone. As Julia said, I'm Diego Parker. I'm a member of the Data School, which is the training program of the Information Lab. I'm a Tableau and Alteryx consultant, and for those who don't know about the Information Lab, maybe you've heard of Andy. He's like a big Tableau persona, has a lot of visualizations, like I think it's the most favorite visualization, the visual analytics directory, I think it is. So I have a background in international relations and public policy. I'm not a data expert by background, but I've learned it in the last couple of years when I moved to the UK, and I'm from Chile. And as I say, I'm in the UK right now, so I'm probably the odd one here. I'm not in the US, it's 9:30 in the night here. And yeah, I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm really happy to welcome you all to Comuni Datos. So if you want, you can connect with me also at Diego T. Parker. So before going a bit into, actually, let me hide this. Before going a bit into like the agenda and what we're talking today, a bit of my free time, things I like to do. I didn't put any pictures. I don't really have many pictures. But yeah, when I'm not really doing Tableau or when I'm actually working for a client, I'm a big Netflix consumer, especially lately now during the pandemic. I also enjoy playing video games, PS4, do a bit of CrossFit in the morning, stay healthy. Luckily my gym moved a lot of the things online, so I was able to still following with that. I cook a lot, mainly Latin recipes. There is an app from the Chilean government if you want to learn like some Chilean recipes. Maybe they even have like some pisco recipes, Francis. And I also do Tableau in my free time, and by that I mean I'm a Tableau ambassador. I put a lot of time into the community, especially in the community forums where I'm answering questions both in the Spanish board and in the, you know, like the general board. And on that note, what's the agenda for today? Well, I'm going to talk a bit about my Tableau journey and what I was doing before coming to the UK, what happens after joining the Information Lab, which was a pivotal time in my career. Then I'm going to talk to you about the Tableau community, the good initiatives in the community, where the community is the most active, things you can do to learn, to improve your Tableau skills, to connect with others. I'm going to talk to you about the forums, which is what I mentioned, the program and ambassador work. And then I'm going to talk about the ambassador program, which was a bit of an ask here from the group. They wanted to learn more also about the program, and I think it would be nice to show you too how, you know, the ambassador program and the Saint Master program that recognize users in the community. And then I'm going to talk about how everything I started in the broad Tableau community And eventually I found now a bit more the Latin community, and especially Comunidatos, and how that influenced my career and what I'm expecting and what I'm hoping my career to develop, and how I hope to join kind of this, be part of this Latin community and help, and with your help also, like collaborate and create and do what Rui say, like create a more equal world, and also like help each other to, improve our Tableau skills. So a bit of my Tableau journey. So it's how I went from like studying international relations and wanting to be a diplomat to become a data analyst. So I was here in Chile. I've done all my life in Chile, even though I have two passports. My mom's Spanish, and 2 years. Well, like no, actually more like 4 years ago. Actually, I graduated from university. I did a bit of public policy in something called like territory development, basically looking regions in Chile that are a bit underdeveloped and how we can improve, economically, maybe which different programs we can create there, like improve their tourism, new commerce, foreign investments and stuff like that. But then doing that I realized that there was a lot of value on data, because what I studied was way more theoretical and I was doing a lot of research. I realized that data was probably the way moving forward. It was how I was able to improve and create much better insights and do a much more impactful work. Also, one of my best friends, he was doing a strategy consulting for like a consultancy, and he told me like, I'm learning Tableau and I'm learning Tableau and LatinX, and that's really really helpful. Everyone at the consultancy likes it, and it's kind of like the way moving forward. So after that, I decided to start learning a bit more Tableau, and that's when I found a job in the UK that I could apply. And well, whilst you would think that I moved to the UK to, to, to work for the information lab, actually I moved to the UK because my girlfriend is British. I met her during a 1 year exchange here, and we did like 3 years long distance. I decided to move here and then join the data school. So the data school works, you have 4 months of training, and then you have a year and nearly 2 years of going to different clients. So the training is given by like some of the best users in the world. Like, as I say, we have Andy, we have Carl Alking, who is like Tableau Preps and Master. We have a bunch of others and masters there in the data school, and it's really, really, really good place for me to start my career. So the things that allow me there is, develop my Tableau skills, go start a career as an analyst, train people, teach, and that's when I joined the community. And I was like, well, how can I give back to the community that has given me a lot? To join the data school, you have to build a visualization. I used the forums a lot that time, and for me, it was really, really helpful to post answers post questions in the forum. People help me, and then I wanted to do the same. And by participating in the forum, I also learn a lot. It's really good way to learn Tableau if you're actually helping other people solve some problems, or if you can see how other people are solving these problems. So I went into these 4 placements and I kept working on the forums, and that's when I became a Tableau ambassador. It was last year, and this year it was like I basically got re-elected again to serve another year as a Tableau ambassador for the community forums. And today I'm here at Comunidatos, and just the first meeting I had with Comunidatos, it was Iron Bees, and I took part in Iron Bees. For those who don't know what Iron Bees is, I may talk a bit later, but it's basically like the World Cup of Tableau. So this time, because of COVID, it was a worldwide event. There were over like 320 participants. And yeah, I came fourth place, and for me it was like really, really a proud moment, especially because the visualization I made was done in Spanish, and well, I translated to English also for the judges, but originally it was done in Spanish. So it was really good to have one of the visualizations there in the top 10 that was representing the Latin American community, because it wasn't only in Spanish, it was also about Latin America. So a bit about the Tableau community. Some of the things, the initiatives are really, really good to learn, and that are, I strongly recommend you to join and start taking part of. These are mainly on Twitter, like the Tableau community goes crazy on Twitter. Everyone is there sharing their work, sharing their blogs. And the first one, and the one that I started, and probably was some that you know, and the one that Francis said that we also going to try to do within Comuni Datos and help us here in Spanish, is Makeover Monday. So basically, on Sunday, they provide a data set, people build visualizations, then you get some feedback. The next one is Workout Wednesday. Same, they build a dashboard, and the dashboard has some technical complexity, and the idea is that you can recreate the dashboard from scratch. They have different levels like beginners, mediums, advanced, and they also provide a solution at the end of the week, and you can see how people build it and different approaches. You also have prepping data for Tableau Prep, which is the other product of Tableau. Along Tableau Desktop, that's also run by a lot of people at the Information Lab, and they provide also very similar to Makeover Monday, a challenge, a data set on the week, and then some kind of challenge and some kind of like the end product of what you have to do, and then the workflow that you have to build. Then you have Iron Quest, a really great initiative to create a beast that is for Iron Beast practice. It follows the Iron Beast kind of guidelines of storytelling, design, and analysis. You have a Sport Beast Sunday if you really like building sport visualizations. You have Project Health Beast for the public health sector. There is the DataFam Community Jam, which has been running especially during COVID, where it's different talks from members of the community. There is the mentoring meetup, where like you can sign up either to be a mentor or mentee in, Tableau and data analysis. And there are more things. There's like Moms Who Bees, who also like do events. There is, well, Women in Data, which is not a Tableau community, but it's a community event. Well, I forgot to mention Bees for Social Good. There is an NGO that's partners with them, and then they provide some data and you build a Tableau dashboard for them. Then about the forums, which is, my bread and butter, things that I do all the time. We have first why the forums are useful. The forums are great repository for questions. Pretty much every Tableau question you have and you Google it, you may find some kind of answer in the forum. You also going to have your answers probably your questions answered very quickly, probably, because there are a lot of Tableau ambassadors. We kind of compete for points of it. So yeah, you try to answer quick. And the good thing is that is a lot of different times in the world, a lot of different approaches. So that's very useful. It's real practice. You compare, you have the community initiatives are great, but the Tableau forums provide real questions is people that is in their day jobs, and they have like a challenge, something that they need to solve before the end of the day, and you are there helping. So it gives you a really good practice when you're starting, and also like if you want to tweak your skills, if you want to learn more, how Tableau is used within business is really, really useful. You can also post ideas. I don't know if there is anything you want to see in Tableau that is not there. You can also post, and yeah, probably if it gets a lot of people voting for it, it will be really helpful, and it may be released. Also, the forums are a great place to talk with devs. You can tag them, you can contact with them, and they will maybe sometimes give you some answers to some very specific questions, especially maybe someone here among the participants, I'm not sure, is more into the dev community, and they also specific place in the forums if you want to learn things are more like Tableau Embed or TCM or like scripts. That's a really good place too. And well, about the Tableau Ambassador program, I will show you the site. I think we're running out of time, but the links are here and the presentations are going to be up. But the Tableau Ambassador program is the recognition program for the community. It recognizes members who connect, collaborate, and share because they realize the value of helping people see and understand their data. That's the quote from Tableau. So there are 6 branches now. To become an ambassador is you get nominated, and then there is a vote. This year we're like 3,000 nominations, and I think there are like 170 ambassadors in the 6 branches. First, we have the community forums ambassador, which are the kind of like the stewards of the forums, helping there, answering the questions, doing moderations. We have social media ambassadors, people blogging, podcast, and well, a lot of presence there in different social media networks. And we have user group leaders ambassadors, people like, leaders here like Rui, like Francis, people, everyone here in the steering committee, here and across all like the different groups all over the world. We have Tableau public ambassadors, which are what Julia showed, people that have great profiles in Tableau public, always sharing visualizations, helping people with visualizations. There are student ambassadors. Well, yeah, for students, people who they haven't lived uni yet and they're really getting into Tableau community, and they help spread the word of Tableau within the universities. They organize events. And we also have the new data dev ambassadors, people developing scripts, people in using things of Tableau that are more in the back end of the application. And well, that's a bit of the community. I've taken part of different parts of the community. I've been very involved in all what is Tableau community from the start of my career at the Information Lab. It's been really, really, really helpful for me, but there is a lack, there is a gap, and that is with probably Spanish-speaking content. So one of the things that it became a bit of my goal in the last couple of years is trying to build more things in Spanish, is trying to help the Spanish forums, is trying to help other Spanish-speaking users. And for me, that's been like a very important element of my career because there is a gap. And when Francis approached me and said like, hey, we're forming Comuni Datos, the place, for the Latino community can interact and get together, it was just like perfect. It was perfect timing for me too. It's something that I'm really pushing, especially lately, is with the Iron Beast, it coincide. I'm starting to build my own blog in Spanish. And that's really something that I want to do more for the community, which is closing a bit that gap, spreading more content in Spanish. And for that, I think this is very important. Like what we are building here at Comuni Datos is very a pivotal thing. Right now, like most of the content is shared in English, and a bit of that is because, I see the communities is liveliest in Twitter. People, they want likes, we have Beast of the Day where a beast gets recognized. And most of the things are recognized are in English because the people actually looking at it and building it is just interacting more in English. And even me, that I speak both languages, if I create something in Spanish, there's no many people is going to be interacting with that. And in one reason of that also is because I'm not connected to many like Latino community or Spanish speaking community in Tableau, and this is really helpful for that. But also it's because like the Tableau community hasn't spread that much, and I think that's what like this meeting and what we're doing here is like really, really, really important. So going a bit on what can you do for that, I would say like, well, create content related to Latin America, create content probably in Spanish, or create any content you want and interact with this community that, it's true, not every beast has to be in Spanish or from, related to Latino America. Is just something that we as community, we are there to support each other. And I'm speaking here for myself, but I like to believe that also most everyone here, probably in the leadership team, is happy that if you create a piece, like to provide feedback, to give an opinion, to like it, to retweet it, to share. And it's the same that kind of like I ask you to create content, to share content, and create it. It can be more than just visualizations. It can be, you know, going into the forums, create conversations, create blogs. That's really, really helpful. Then it's going to be sharing and then engaging. If you see someone else from the community creating or sharing their content, engage with it, share it, talk about it, discuss it with people. And I think that's really going to help us, you know, grow as community, grow the Latino Tableau community. And it's probably, yeah, I mean, that's really what I would like to see in the future. And for that, I bring a bit of like an initiative, as Francis say. We have government data sets, and I would like you for the next meeting, if you want, you can create a base. Here are listed a lot of Latin American countries. I mean, the reason why are these countries and some other countries are not there is because not every country has their data portal yet. So you can create a visualization, just add a hashtag, Comunidatos, tag us, and it will be really, really good to see what you come up with. I created my base. You can see it in my Tableau public profile. My Iron base is in both English and Spanish. I even did a talk on how I build it. So I'll make sure to post that on the Slack channel too. If you haven't joined, make sure you join, scan the QR and let us know. So hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have some of the dashboards we'll be able to look, to discuss, and yeah, and have fun.
And
yep.
Diego, before you move on there, might I suggest we as a group choose one of these countries to focus a round of dashboards on before the next meeting. So, I mean, if we were to go top down, maybe say, hey, this month is going to be focused on Argentina. Everybody take a look at it, click around it, put together some slice of analyses, hashtag Comunidatos, and at the next meeting, we can talk about them and talk about our approach.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of the time, you know, like with Makeover Monday or anything, or any community initiatives, like they don't have to be like massive works. They don't have to be like super big analysis. You know, one page, one chart, something like it's just to get you there so we can discuss, so we can, you know, provide feedback, so we can, you know, have fun. So that's a bit of the idea. And well, before kind of like closing and going on, like, I mean, I'm the one who, you know, doesn't live in the US. And for me, it was a thing when we started at Comunidatos. I asked the question, I'd be like, well, who is Comunidatos? What do we do? Who are we catering for? And you know, after talking and discussing within, you know, the group, Comunidatos at the end is the place where, like, you know, if you have any feeling of like attachment or belonging to Latin America, you may have been born there, you may, your parents may be from there, you may have lived there, you may have gone on a gap year, you may just like the food or the dance or the music. I think like if you feel any connection with Latin America, like you are in the right place. Here is the place where, like, you know, we're gonna have fun and questions on, like, you know, pisco or arepas or boleros. And I think that's the important thing, like how we get together to something that unites us, and something that, you know, we can create and put more visualizations of that. So with that, I hope you tag along. I hope you tag along now for the Café con Datos, and you tag along for our journey, you know, creating this Latino community. So I'll leave it to you, Francis, now.
Fantastic. Thank you, Diego. And one day we're going to pull you right back in here, and I want to see that Iron Viz. Get a good feel, a walkthrough for how you got there and how you put that together.
Well,
I have a one question already in the Q&A box from Evelyn Walker, asking the group that she is dealing with data that has millions of rows. How do you guys deal with data this big? Does anybody have opinions on how they typically approach large data sets?
well, I mean, Tableau can do it, but it depends mainly on your data source. I mean, I've connected to over like 1 billion rows using Exasol, because Exasol is a big data, you know, storage, and they process the data very quickly for you, so you can connect to Tableau, and it works well. But of course, if you have like a SQL data source, is going to be depending to that, and then the clue there, if you are using millions of rows, is using extracts mainly. Use extracts perform really well, and 1 million rows should be fine. And then Tableau can process that very quickly. Then it's going to become a thing of the rendering. So if you are plotting many points, like if you have a map with 1 million of points, that's not really going to perform well. But if you're just using a Tableau, a table, or aggregating data, that should be fine. But it depends a lot of, like, if you are using XLS or CSV, that should be good, like with some extras and tables.
Yeah, and Evelyn, another thing is recognizing that the slowness typically comes from 4 sources. It's the connection, it's the connection, calculations, filtering, and then rendering, I believe, are the 4 categories. So if you use Performance Recorder in Tableau Desktop, if you don't know what that is, Google Tableau Performance Recorder. It allows you to click around your dashboard for, let's call it 30 seconds, and then the Performance Recorder will actually isolate which of those 4 processes are working the hardest and creating the biggest slowdown. And then once you figure out what is contributing to that slowdown, you can actually address it. So if it's your calculations, maybe you have nested level of detail that's getting in the way. If it's a connection, maybe the query is a little slow, and we might have to simplify the data set with context filters, bring down the rows, the row count, whatever it is. But that's a good start, just to start to diagnose why this is slow, as opposed to that open-ended hard question to answer of, it's slow, what do I do?
I would also say that if you have millions or billions of rows, think about what your use case is for the dashboard, and do you really need all of that data? And is there any way you can filter it down, remove different columns, aggregate up before you bring it in? There's this really good old chat from a previous TC that I'm thinking about right now, where the approach was hot versus cold data sets as well. So say you do need the data, there's ways that you can aggregate it for certain vises in your visualization, and then have a smaller piece of it be the drill down, and basically filter across data sets. So segmenting it out that way. And I'm trying to find the video, so I'll send it to you if I find it in time, but that's another approach as well.
Okay, with that, let's see if we can have some fun here. So let's get these up. Just give me one quick second here. Maybe you can put that music back as well.
Come on, DJ.
Just give me 1 second.
El DJ está bailando sus propios boleros.
Francis, you're muted.
Yeah, come on, you have to put the music, Francis.
Francis, come on.
He's dancing with no noise.
Oh, what about now? Oh, it's just me dancing. Oh no. Oh no. All right, well now you guys can know why I'm dancing.
Okay, so for those that haven't played before, if you go to kahoot.it and enter that game pin, that's how we're gonna play. And while you guys do that, I'll just call out the amazing the amazing prizes we have right here. So first, second, and third prize right there. So hopefully we'll get some competition going. Maybe Sebastian will wake up. I know he's pretty tired, right? So I saw you were falling asleep a little bit. So let's see if you let's see if you can win a prize. See how much you know.
Seeing as this is the first meeting, it will technically be the easiest time to win a prize. Take advantage, guys. Every other member makes it a little more difficult.
Luego busca bailador, la gente la mira y le empieza a gritar. Bravo, bravo, chona, nadie te puede igualar. Bravo, bravo, chona, nadie te puede igualar. Y la chona se mueve y la gente le grita. No es mejor que la chona para la quebradita. Y la chona se mueve al ritmo que le toquen. Ella baila de todo, nunca pierde su trote. Y gózame, Rodrigo. Contaré la historia de una famosa persona. Todos la conocen con el apodo de Chona. Todos la conocen con el apodo de Chona. Su marido dice ya no sé qué hacer con ella.
Louis, can you hear me?
Si se compra
Can hear you.
We've got a couple of requests for the Slack link in the chat. Do you have that? Can you post it?
Yeah, I'll post it here in a second. Actually, let's see if I can copy it over.
Beautiful, beautiful. My files. Yeah, and Evelyn, I'm seeing that you're talking about how you're connecting to a CSV and talking to Excel. So we just mentioned how that's actually the slowest connections, but definitely bring that to the Slack chat. We can talk a little bit more about diagnosing that, looking into that. And ultimately the best case scenario is getting off those CSVs, off those Excels, and directly into whatever database connection that's feeding into it. But until then, we can talk more about that on Slack. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay, so hold on, let me find these.
Kahoot an English word or a Spanish word? Kahoot.
Hi there.
Hey, I think that worked, right?
It looks like you sent it to all panelists. It needs to be sent to all attendees. I also
You're
made
right,
that
you're right.
mistake.
You're right. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get this party started then.
No, I'm logged out.
Can you see my screen? We're all good? Can get started?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Well, can you delete the Chilean Pisco one? That's a lie.
I know. I wonder who that might be.
Maria, you can back me up. Pisco sours are Peruvians. We have to
Just
fight
to let
together.
And just to let everyone know, the fastest reply will get the most points. So you need to be fast.
Which one? Oh crap. I thought these were supposed to be easy.
Okay. Let's see who's on the top. Julia, followed by Helen and the Chilean Pisco.
Y la chona se mueve y la gente le grita.
Oh.
Para la canadita. Y la chona se mueve al ritmo que le toquen. Ella baila de todo, nunca pierde su trote.
Hey, let's see. Julia again. Chilean Pisco is second
Cheating.
now. Yeah.
What's going on, Francis?
I'm DJing. It's hard to do both.
Okay, well, let's go to the next one.
Yellow, blue. Country shit. No. I thought it said which one doesn't have it.
So Chilean Pisco has taken the lead.
Diego.
He's in the
Doesn't-
data school. It makes sense. He knows the answer to all these questions.
I'm just making a statement.
Okay, let's see.
I'm back.
Hey,
Back on the board.
Chilean Pisco is still there on the top. Julia, come on.
Trying.
Ooh. The full question is when was the last time they were in the World Cup?
Yeah, it went a little bit too fast.
No worries.
Well, he's still on the top there, right? Oh,
Yeah, it cut
Cut
off
out.
at the top.
no.
Maria, the year you were born, that must have been exciting for your parents. Peru in the World Cup and a child. But you got it wrong. How'd you get it wrong? You can guess who wrote these questions, guys.
Oh my goodness.
I've literally no idea.
There we go. We know our Peruvian soccer here as a group. I'm proud.
Okay, this is where we're gonna set the
Everybody
record
should
straight.
get this one right. Diego, are you gonna pick points or pride?
I stay with my principles.
Also, I forgot to press my phone. No. I forgot to click it on my phone. I got so excited. Oh, were you guys paying attention? Who's the one? Who's the one? Who wasn't paying attention?
Okay, let's see if Louis can take the lead there. Julia. Okay. Hey, she's
Puerto Rico,
taking
The panel is taking all the prizes.
So this is the last question. Let's see what happens next.
Oh, this is okay. This is like a GRE question. Birds similar to vultures, also known.
Okay, for the moment of truth right here. Let's see, it's the winner. So third,
place.
Louis.
Ho-ho-ho.
Leave us a message on the chat, Louis, so that we know your full name and we can get you your prize as well. Connect with us on Slack as well. So Julia, Chilean Pisco.
Wait.
I see the point you're making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we though like pick the rest of the community?
Yeah, I think we should.
This was just between me and Francis.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Awesome.
Okay, well, that that was fun, and we are ending like almost right on time, like 3 minutes over, which is actually pretty good for Latin people. I would say that we're never on time. Especially when there's a party going on and when we're having fun, we never want to leave. So it was very, very fun. I love these. This was a great start. And connect with us. As always, we want to see how we can help each other out. So we're all about connecting with you, and anything we can do for you, just let us know. Use our Slack channel. Connect with us on social, and Diego said it, if you can, create some of those dashboards in Spanish or translate a dashboard in Spanish. We love that, and I need to start doing that. I was going to do that for the one that I showed today, but unfortunately I couldn't get it done. But I promise Diego I will get at least 2 of them this weekend done in Spanish. So any other wrap-up comments? Anyone else wants to throw something else before we wrap it up, or we're all good?
More so that we're all just taking our first stab at this. So guys in the community, you have suggestions, you have ideas, throw them out there. We're ready to chase them down and make really anybody successful in their goals they're trying to accomplish. We have that shared perspective of Latin American background. Now let's drive action with it. So let us know. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, and let us know how we can what we would like for us to do, and keep connecting with us.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye guys. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. See ya.